Welcome back to the StockSmart channel. We've added a stock bot to our Discord now. And we're going to start off with ADMA. Recent low, very good thing. I like it a lot. So we can really look for, probably a breakout, above this $2 level. But the bid and the ask is 2 cents, so if it starts trading above $1.60, let me know. And we can see here that it has just been building a block trade. And with options, now, reverse, off, expire. Okay, so there's some options things we can do there. All right. Now, AEHR keeps showing up. In many of my lists. As we can see, this was really the best time to get in, all right? We're already at our high. We're probably going to get pushed back down to, at least this level. Okay. Our trade was pretty much from here to here. The trade is about over now. At least on the daily. That doesn't mean it won't run again. It's actually going into a nice cycle to start running, but I think that it's going to drop down, pick a lower channel, and then start trending back up. We shall see, though, because it is a bit higher. All right. Prices, right up in here. And we'll keep watching that one. NGOL. Yeah, they're in a pullback, but we should be looking for that reversal or a bounce off of this support. So we should look for a bounce up. Okay. Now, let's see if we can pull up. No, we don't need that right now. There we go. We'll look at this list instead. Which ADMA is there? Yala is there. ES is there. CTXS, ZYXI, HGSH, TAK, ZTO, GCI, DTSS, CIDM has been showing up. MTOR, AMKR, TCEHY, and Disney. What's that? 10-cent holdings, another 10-cent one. Okay. Bit of a pullback here, but it looks like it's probably just hitting the support. Looks like that was valid through there, or maybe it has just broken that support. Let's see. I mean, that level's still relevant, so that's fine. Alright, so see if it breaks this level, then we'll look for another level. There we go. So that's probably close. Let's see if it breaks any of these levels or not. And these are the Kapok weeklies, all right? So we can go and pull up our email and see what's in there and see if it has anything to do with any of these that have showed up. We know that DTSS was a big one, and CIDM keeps showing up everywhere in the watch lists. Okay, makes sense. It's about to go bullish on the weekly. And the daily, it looks like, too. Sign-Diggum Corporation. Okay. We'll see how that turns out. Could go up or down. We're hoping that this is a good upward signal on the daily. Okay. Let's go to the 4-hour and see what that shows us. Where are we stuck at in the 4-hour? Looks like we hit a rock bottom, started to trend back up. Hammer, trend, hit the top, rejected, some dojis, some indecisions. All right, so let's see if we trend back down into this cross here, hit one of these and bounce. So I'm going to say starting out, it will start out in the downwards direction, likely. All right. Now, GCI, Gannett. This kind of looks like it might start off in the downwards direction, too. Okay. Not that we can't find things that are going to move up. The Kapok Weekly here, for example. But let's make sure we get our proper list. And we'll just start to cross some of these, ticker symbols with some of the results. In the watch list. Okay. Now, bring this over here. Okay, so what do we see? Well, we see some very simple ones, ones we recognize. Goose from a week or two ago, Riot, EPZM, so watch out for this one. If it's on the daily or weekly stupid buy signal, that means it's hit a low. Apple, AEHR. And we see all of these coming in on their own. They're coming in Accumulation Swing Index, YouTube, Arun 150. Okay. And we just check these out. These are some of those good signals. There's HAL. All right, so let's go over here and pick one out. Let's go with, let's start with ADMA. And then we'll go with C or Yala. Yeah, we'll go with ADMA and Yala first. Okay. ADMA. All right. And when was it first brought onto our list's attention? That was back on the 30th. Looks like it came up with TCDA on the Arun Stupid Buy Signal. On June 30th, buy signal, gamma squeeze. Okay, so it rode right on up the list with all of the basics, and we were given the stupid buy signal, basically being told, The very first thing it did was gamma squeeze right onto the stupid buy signal. Haha. That's funny. Okay. And we can see we've been getting alerted on it ever since. So we had plenty of time to hone in on that one. And ADMA was added to the pump and dump 15. All right. Now let's look up Yala. And that showed up on June 2nd. All right, on another squeeze list. And we can see it was squeezed a bunch, then showed up on the 4-hour pump and dump list. Very good. I would have had to make a lot of movement to show up there. All right, again, then added to the Vortex 4-way, which is probably... it's really moving then. Okay. That means it's hot. Some gamma squeezes, very good. So let's be paying attention to this one too. All right. ASRT, ASTR, ATCO. I think something just tells me the banks go in and just put money in these stocks in an alphabetical order, because sometimes when they come in on my watch list, they seem alphabetical. Okay, let's go check up another. And we can even go and check another watch list. We don't have to stay on this one. We can go on our for YouTube example. And if that one has too many stocks on it, it does seem to have quite a few. Some pullbacks here. The trade desk, very good. I like that low right there. Yes, I do. I like that low. That must have happened right after the the split. Yes. All right, let's see if we hit a bottom here, or if it's breaking its channel. All right. Very good. And you see how we get these little dips below the channel to make you think that it's breaking your resistance? Well, I learned of that little trick early on, so I was able to combat that with taking, and at the time, I was using Bollinger Bands. So you can take, there we go. There's some good ones. IO, Sens, those are some last week runners. All of these fallers are last week's runners. Okay. Which means these will probably, I mean, without looking at each one, but ideally they're running in whichever direction they are, but they're due for a reversal. So these are running up due to reverse back, and these are running down due to reverse up. So, yes. Here we go. And AEHR, Excella, AMC, and Apple. Those are going to be our four lovelies. All right. Oh, I see you. I see what you're trying to do there. Yeah. All right, so it is going to drop off a little bit more. I think it's going to come down and probably hit something in here and probably try to trend, might make a slightly higher shoulder. Okay. So if it gets up above the shoulder, yeah, we'll see how those trends work out. Yeah, I see these moves right here. I don't like them. I like that signal right there, though. I gave you a good move. Nice clean move up. And it happened right on a hammer. So I would have called that a pretty reliable signal. All right, now AMC. unfortunately, is gonna keep falling in price. All right? That is just going to happen with how much it was pushed up. Now let's see if it can grab this trend line here, or if it's just going to fall off. You know, it did hit a bottom here, but it had its fun, hit its top, and was smacked back down. Let's see if it's trapped within this wedge here, or if it loses that support right away. If it loses that support right away, and the Arun 150. That was a lot of stocks on the Arun 150, which is a very long period scan. So that means a lot of things are going bullish. Okay, and it looks like a lot of things are going to get squeezed too. And on the For YouTube example list. Very good. So when they all come in at the same time, now I just need to get myself a little Python program written out to sift through all of them, figure out which ones are, say, prevalent of all the lists, and BTBT. Yes, stay watching BTBT as Bitcoin starts to go back up. That'll be a good one for, say, smaller accounts to jump into. Yes, okay. And once we get our little program to pluck out the ones that are the most between all of the different lists, the ones that show up the most often, things like that. Which I'm sure it, it can be done. Not finding anything on those lists there. Let's check our Momo LBR on the daily and weekly. Let's check the weekly first. We'll take our 4-hour chart. We'll take it out to the weekly. And we'll go Momo LBR on the daily, and we get AEHR and Apple. So that's a good one. The Momo LBR is a very reliable list. Now, if we're to look at AMC, we can see that this is creating what? A giant hammer. Okay, look at the much farther out resistance lines, but we see that we could doji right in here. We could get trapped. All right, if we get trapped right in this wedge here, this is kind of like a little rocket ship, all right? Because it's going to go little doji, probably even a smaller, tighter doji, and then I'm going to expect an explosion upwards. Possibly, I can't quite get the lower fork yet, or maybe this is the lower fork and I'm missing the higher fork, which is way up here, which that could be where I'm not finding that $1,000 price range that everybody says is there or something. Anyway, realistic charting. For real. All right, so let's pull up our TPO. See where the gaps are. We will find them. How are we gonna find them? And there we go. All right. Kind of seems like we've lost our support, and that's not good. All right? Because our next support outside of falling is hitting this 20-ish area right here, 27.45, or let's say $30, 30.11. All right, and then after that, it's fall all the way down to 19.89, and then 18.25, and then 17.27, then it'll fall to 16.62, and it's going to fall again to 14, looks like 33, and it might find a bottom at 11.72. So even if you were to buy at $20, you're still going to be real sad. And that doesn't mean that it still won't reach down and fill in this gap before it runs back up. So to figure your high over low, your risk over reward, blah, 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 do the research. We can see that whereas it was a high, okay, and we had a previous low, we still need to see a new daily low on this chart. And considering, even if you go on, let's say, the weekly or the yearly, all right, so we've got our low here at 191, and say it does hit this new low way down here in the $7 range, all right, are the people who got in at this level here, or even hits this low at $4, if you bought your shares at $1.90 and they still held a value of $4.16 long term, you probably wouldn't feel too bad about it. So the year-over-year profit would make sense. The rest of it would be the over-exaggeration. Now, will it bounce from the top of this point here, at this $20 level, and $19 level? That's where I said I would jump back in, okay? And I think this is going to be something that we're going to want to continue to scale in and out of, okay? It's not something I would hold, for the forever. Hold it right now while it's hot. But it certainly seems to be cooling off. So if we see any kind of moves towards these levels, we could probably set orders down here at these levels. A matter of some fact, right down here at this level for, say, $5 level, okay? So from the 190 to the $5 level, you still have a couple 100% increase there, so you're still okay. Yeah. It just might bounce right around that level, huh? Okay. And it is showing a dip, so we need to get a signal to start buying again. And we did get this, our wow indicator. Okay. And that did catch it. And it caught it here too. And it caught these lows too. So when these wows start to get really spread out, it's making a bunch of noise. Saying, pay attention to me. Look over here. All right. See the doji there? So that doji, we might see a green doji next to it. Or we could get another red doji and continue on. But, let's hope on the daily we see positive moves. Yes. Now, Apple, it has finally topped out. And typically it does not trade in, or above, 130, 5-ish. It doesn't typically trade above this level. So something makes me think they're going to knock it back down to 132. That way it can go back to trading in between 132 and 117, which is where it belongs. Actually, it really belongs between these two, but either way, these are where the gap fills are, okay? And those are typically where it trades. So, we can see this signal here, and we can see this signal here that we got. All right. And of course, we have these up here on the upper screen. Let's go check out another list here. Now make sure you come over to the Discord and join in on the fun over there. We've just added our stock bot, and it has some very interesting things to say. We'll see what's new here. There might not be anything new on the Rune Bullish Weekly. Let's check the daily scans. And we can check our moving scalpers and our sentiment scans. So looks like here if we go with our moving scalpers, we get some real good ones here. Seems like it does. All right. And let's get the moving scalpers with the super and the sentiment. We'll see how they turn out. And nothing is to show. Here we go. Stag, XPEV. I recognize a couple of these from last week. SQ, Zoom, CTAS. Very good. Those are some good moving scalpers. And we've got $30 plus. Then we've got $1 to $30. Okay. We've got some good ones on here. All right. And I may even make some of these scalper scans a section all on their own. I do have a section for scalps, but I should build one, for each watch list. And many of these look very similar from last week, too. And they were, of course, across the other lists. All right. Looks like NNDM, the Nano Dimensions, all the way at the bottom. But will it stay at the bottom, or is it going to reach back up for this high here before it gets slapped back down? Will it just touch just under its previous high, or will it create a new, head and shoulder pattern? So, it does seem to have broken out from this pattern. This is a nice M pattern. Is it just pulling below to, try to, shake off this block here? I think it might be trying to shake off this block here. Otherwise, it's found a very sturdy support. Okay. Both of these are in the downwards direction, so that's not looking great. The last signal was a sell, but this was a doji. All right, now on the daily here, we should be looking for a reversal soon and possibly a gap back up to this level up here. Let's go out to the weekly and see what that says. Okay, that says we're in a bit of a pullback. Yes. Let's see how far back it wants to keep trending down, but I'm suspecting it's trying to fill orders right in this area, which we can see was already determined from well in advance way back here. All right, So we can see that right there and expect that bounce on that level. Otherwise, a sudden drop to nowhere. All right, now we've got unit. That is a impressive unit you've got yourself there. All right. Well, let's see how this is, how that's going. I see you going right through there. Okay. And looks like we can use the top of this candle as our base. There we go. And that lines right up with a nice big fat gap right in there. All right, I didn't even look over there that time. But if you go with charting and then go check your gaps, you'll see that if you did it right, you'll probably strike through one of those gaps. Making them more relevant along the way, as you train yourself to trade better. Okay. And we can see this support right here is very valid still. All right. And you can see it constitutes with a gap. All right. So we can expect a run up to this and then a rejection possibly. So our next move may look like this, a rejection to this line, and then a bounce back up to the high, and then a rejection back down, to here before it pushes back up. Interesting things. Of course, we could see a dip down here, and then that push back up. That's probably why that dip is there. So never underestimate the dip. Okay, just like these little, shake moves and try to shake you off. But it is currently dipping now. Unit. Now we'll check unit on the daily. It's a little overextended on the day, but it certainly could be opening in the upwards direction. Looks like it wants to. And it could top out right there at the 1175. Got a pretty wide bid and ask spread, so that means there's a little wiggle room. I started staying away from things that have the extremely tight bid and ask spread. Just seems to be better to try to get in under the bid and then, sell in just under the ask, and then you can still make money if you're scalping. But if the bid and ask is tight as a penny or 2 pennies, you're not really going to scalp and make much money on that, nor is there really an opportunity to get in under, a decent percentage under market value. So, anyhow, little, quick level 2 strategy there. Of course, you can go around and just look where the orders, are lined up at. I'm not sure if we can still see them. I know in Weeble you were able to. And let's see what we have here. And let's check our Fibonacci Bollinger Band. And of course, it may not produce anything. We shall see. Check out Tesla for a minute. And it looks like it's going to end up gapping down here too. Eek. Yeah, it certainly does, huh? See if it keeps rolling on down, but it's filling this gap right now. See if it moves to this gap and then this gap. But with how high Tesla actually got, they're going to need to push it down a lot lower if they want to bring in, another group of mass investors, okay? See our wow indicator here. Let's go back to our weekly and see if we caught it when it hit all of those big fancy lows. There was the low at $35. Okay, and the wow detector certainly did catch it. Rock bottom detector caught it. Okay. This one didn't really catch it very well, not till it got over here, but all of these did really good. They caught it. And this arrow in the dip, that was a really good signal there, too, on that pullback. This kind of looks like a straddle. This looks like a straddle. I'm trying to go through and recognize particular trading patterns. I think it could help. See these big gaps? Yeah. Those are levels that it will, breach and break to. So we don't need to use the TPO on every chart, but if we find something that interests us, and as you can see with the support and resistance lines, they do strike through those gapping areas, okay? So that's another way to confirm if you're, charting correctly. And that can help a little bit too. I don't know if it was ever meant to be like that, but that's how I like to use it right now. Okay. Let's check a 30-minute chart, and we can see, yes, it is well pushed down and looks like it could use a gap up anytime now. And it looks like it could open up in a gapping upwards direction. All right. How far up will it gap? Tesla's good for making those gaps. So let's say it's probably going to run to 674, 679. We might have to type in and find what the day's range is, but of course it might only, just go up here to 650, and be pushed right back down. Yeah, I would say if we were, gonna dip and then catch the new, resistance, I'd say we might have a dip to here and then a pop to here and then a dry, keep on dropping back down. Of course, all speculative and for the entertainment purposes only. But if I do happen to entertain you, hit that subscribe button and, consider coming over to Patreon before I leave them due to possible irritations with DUS customer service. We'll see. I may just start accepting donations through, my PayPal account. I can pay taxes on that the same way just fine, too. So, and you can send it friends and family, and nobody has to get their hands on a little percentage of it, at least for a little while. There we go. Maybe I should do that and just, leave the Patreon, keep up with the same, type of benefits. See, this gap here now becomes way more relevant. All right. Well, I don't know. Really, we should have charted it like that or like that. Look at that. Look at how that line goes right up into that gap right there. All right, if you keep on extending it, it goes up and touches it. Now, we could keep on going through it, of course, but it goes right through that level. All right, so we can almost think that in between here and here are the highs and the lows. Just for gigs, we'll go over here and we'll pull out the cone of doom. The probability of the expiring cone. Yes. And we'll see where that extends to. And we can see it got pretty close to our lines here, but the top is a bit closer, isn't it? Way closer to this support line we have going through here. The bottom's a little off, but not really given our line and where we see the support at in the TPO. So this is all just kind of dead blah space right now. You know, no pay attention to. All right. So we can see, you know, coming up into the future, where is it gonna, you know, possibly go? Well, we could see a move within, you know, or down to this area, and then up to this area. All right, and that's pretty typical for Tesla to move that much in a day. I've known Tesla to move $100 or more in a day, so looks like we are sitting at that bottom, you know, value there, but to open in the upwards direction would not surprise me the least. All right, so pre-market open, it will probably start trending up. And if it doesn't, it's probably going to come down and hit this level and then start, you know, have your little bounce before it gets rejected and continues on its way back down. And let's check out our market forecast and see what is on those lists. All right, very good. HP, saw that last week. PSAC keeps showing up on many of my lists. Hires on a bunch of them. The DNOW is on a bunch of them. ORPH is on a bunch of them. Okay. Pretty high bid-ask spread there. Gap right there. And kind of sitting right on it. That might be ready to make a move. All right. Well, I think that's where we'll cut it off for now, but I thank you for watching.